Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Toon Review. Long time, very long time. We obviously did a loaded show on Sunday night, but Alex hasn't. Alex has been globe-trotting and things like that, and
we stuck in Norway for a few days.
Yes,
I couldn't bring any football talent back. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to basically get back to basics now, and we're going to obviously start off today. We've got two shows today, of course, this one and the TTR Friday show tonight, which has been a big miss for everybody. So looking forward to getting back into that as well, starting the weekend off with a really good laugh and basically just having a good time and lots of Newcastle content to come, obviously, with the season kicking off just around the corner again. Very excited about that. And seeing how we progress in our bid for European football. Before we start, we'll go into a few comments. Overthinking Underthinkers is, I think I might be a bit early. That was 20 minutes before the show was due to start. Cesare, the usual stuff from the mods. Please keep everything respectable. Duplicate comments and capitals are no-goes. Spacebar, good afternoon. Soli says, I caught a live show, and from the start, I want a big boy badge and everything. Hope you're all well. Let's get into this. Geordie Boy says, I haven't seen a live since before the World Cup. Don't watch international football. It's shit. Can't wait for a Premier League to start. I need my Toon fix. Absolutely, mate. We've missed it as well. Don't worry about that. But football is back. The friendly against Vallecano this weekend. The Carabao Cup on Tuesday against Bournemouth. And, of course, Boxing Day. It all starts again. And we begin our quest for European football, of course. Not long now until proper football is back. Soli says, I was devastated until I turned it off. Then immediately I was like, right, let's get back to the team that matters. Absolutely. Pedro says, good afternoon, you beautiful people. Nice to chill with you on this very cold December afternoon. Keep up the merry work. Ryan is back with us, of course, for 3 weeks on a little break from his jaunt in the army. Feels weird talking about football again, but glad to be back. It's good to hear from you, Ryan. I hope you're doing well. James, evening, lovely TTR 4. Looking forward to the Toon getting on the pitch again. Ian, afternoon. Dylan's in the house. Good afternoon. Alex05 says, get Gakpo in now. He is one of the players that has been linked, of course. Afternoon, gents. David Knight says, hey up, a live afternoon show. Hope everyone is well. Ian wants to know how Norway was, Alex. Well, apart from your struggles to get back in the country, of course.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Absolutely stunning out there. Got to see it in all its glory in the snow. They all have, it's like everybody communicates out there. They've all got like a uniform set of Christmas lights. Everybody's got like a warm yellow glow light on every house. It doesn't matter where you are. It's like they all have a meeting. It's amazing. You got to be careful of the moose, though. It's a little bit Canadian. They wander through the forest and into residential areas, and they are massive.
Oh, they're huge. They're huge.
Absolutely. They're not super friendly either. If you see one, you need to back away.
Get the hell away from it. Yeah, absolutely. Resident Raccoon, thank you for becoming a new member of the channel. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the Toon Review. And, of course, the usual applies, guys. If you do enjoy today's show, hit that like button for us. And if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Become a member of the community. It is free to do so. And also that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload a video. We've obviously, subscribers have just sort of come down a little bit because obviously we haven't been doing much filming, which due to illness and being stuck in other countries and things like that, we've been out of action. But we have brought you quite a few World Cup watch-alongs, and we will be bringing you the final as well on Sunday afternoon. So looking forward to that. But, of course, the main talk is getting back into football, the Premier League. But if you do want to donate to the channel, please do hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And that will, of course, take you through to a payment method. So thank you in advance for that. Logan, good afternoon. To coin a phrase, that warlord. Jock, good afternoon. Turpy says, afternoon all. Haven't been on in ages. Hope everyone's well. Yeah, good to hear from you. Soli says, yes, TTR Friday. Love it, guys. Yeah, that will be tonight. Billy won't be on it. Billy's away, jaunting on well, I think it's a beer festival thing. It's Christmas do. So Billy will be drinking a lot tonight. But we are joined by, of course, Jimmy and Roy. Looking forward to some stories from Roy, of course. who attended quite a few of the World Cup games and just to get a feel of what it's been like over there. Cruel to be Kind says, where the hell did the Kavicha Kvavadishilia link come from?
He's on the list. Don't worry.
That's a testing name for me on a Friday afternoon. Jesus. Samantha, good afternoon. Geordie Boy says, thank God TTR is back. James says, no way is he in Norway. I'm a thick Geordie accent. Well, he was in Norway, James. He's back now. I love this channel because you don't go on like, well, we'll not mention other channels on here. Everyone has a different way of doing things, guys. So we won't be slagging other channels off. Thank you very much. But I'm glad you like the show. Thank you very much. Paul Gallant, good afternoon. Logan's missed us. Toon Dave in the house. Afternoon, all. Hope all the TTR fam are well. Been so long since I've caught a proper live show. Roll on the Toon and season 2 resume. That Shilia is an absolute star. Alex, do you want to pronounce that name?
Kvaratskelia? I haven't looked at it. I don't speak Georgian. I'll double check so we can say it right. And for people who know him, we got linked by the Times, so it's not a terrible link. To be fair, it's better than some publications.
Absolutely, so, I mean, the Times, of course, Ian Anderson, I hope you're fully recovered, Paul. Yeah, I'm getting there, matey. Don't worry. Just battling Parkinson's on a daily routine is hard, especially when you pick up chest infections and stuff like that. It's even worse. But hey, you battle on. Ashley Eddies, good afternoon. Hiya, lads. Nice to be back to a club ball. Ian Skinner, good afternoon. Can't wait for proper football to start, says Jock. Kamal, good afternoon to you here. Paul and Alice, great to see you guys back. Going to miss the World Cup games, but also can't wait for our beloved NUFC. Also love to wish my lovely country, Bahrain, a happy National Day. Happy National Day to Bahrain. Notice that, Alex? I said the country right. Yes.
Funny because you got a chest infection.
No, I don't have a chest infection anymore, Alex. That is just the way. Bahrain. There you go. Pedro says, is ASM on his way out? Being linked to Napoli winger, him. Good luck with trying to say his name. Yes, I've tried. Look, I don't think it involves ASM, no. Alex.
We've been linked with countless numbers of right-footed left wingers in the last year, and Maxi seems to be well in the plans, and rightly so, because before he picked up his hamstring, doing a 90-minute sprint, he was doing fine. He single-handedly destroyed Kyle Walker and got us, helped to get us 3 goals against Man City. And then got us a point against Wolves on his own, and then unfortunately pulled a hammy. But he was doing exactly what we were waiting for, that step, and he looked like he'd taken it. So I don't see why we shouldn't just keep going and see how he goes, because he looks like he's learning.
Absolutely, yeah. Paul, have you been gargling blue pop? What's blue pop? Someone want to help me with that? I'm not sure I understand that. Dave
French Iron Brew, probably.
Yes. Been catching up on United match vids. We really are playing good football. Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely.
We are.
Ross said, did you see the Northern Lights, Stato? Dream of mine to see them.
Unfortunately not. So I stayed in a place called Drobak, which is further down in the south. So we got to go over some fjords and stuff, but not far north enough. I don't know if you can see them from down in the south. Possibly. I didn't know.
Yeah, well, they are lovely. I haven't seen them. I've just seen pictures, but it looks immense. As if it's one of those things that you just have to probably see in real life to appreciate just how amazing they are.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect, because I think a lot of the pictures you see of them are like time-lapsed and condensed to make them look more impressive. So I don't know what the real thing is going to be like, but I'll see it at some point.
Alex05 says, thoughts on Skriniar? Is that his?
Skriniar, yeah.
Skriniar. Well, he's on the list as well, so stay tuned, Alex.
You will find Slovakian.
Steven says, I think we're in poor position to buy James Maddison. That's if we want him. Realistically, how much do you think we'll spend in January? I reckon circa 60 to 70 million. Been asked this before. I think, look, we'll spend what we need to spend, or what the owners feel like we need to spend on where they want to finish, etc. That's basically the way it'll go. Whatever, it's going to be exciting to see what happens and who we do go for. Hi, guys, Argentina or France?
Neither.
I'm not really bothered, to be honest. there just seems to be this massive Messi love in for him to win the World Cup. I
I'm
don't
not
get
after the
that.
handball went unpunished. I'm not interested now.
Well, I don't care.
I was against the Netherlands. That funny handball.
Yeah.
I think both teams are very lucky to be in a final.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Jason says up the Saudi Mags. Les says it's my birthday today. Good to see you back. Wouldn't be a good birthday without TTR. Happy birthday, Les. I hope you're having a cracking day, my friend. Mark, good afternoon. Ian says, good afternoon, everyone watching. Hope you're well. It's your favourite Darlington FC fan. Hope you're well. Darlington FC is still top of the league. Come on, Darlo. Yeah, they are having a great season. Unlike England, at least Newcastle got silverware in the Middle East. Yes, it was a very, very good performance, Alex.
It was. It was. Well, it was a little bit shaky at the start, but a few of our senior players, especially Joe Linton, it's lovely to see him doing that after his strange start to life at the club. To see him be able to drag us by the scruff of the neck when we weren't, because there was about half an hour we weren't quite. They looked energetic. We looked a little bit sloppy in possession. And the fact that he's come on so much, he's able to just grab that game by the scruff of the neck on his own. Outstanding. And then once we calmed down a bit, nice to see some of the younger lads get minutes as well, with Dylan Stevenson getting the goal and seeing the trophy lift as well was a little bit emotional. Some of the guys looked a bit
look, it's
awkward,
something to dream of and look forward to, isn't it?
Hats off to Murphy for properly enjoying it,
Yeah, but it gives us a little taster of Newcastle United lifting the trophy, doesn't it?
That's the point. That's a rehearsal, isn't it? So
look, it was a lot. The game was a lot more feisty than I thought it would be. Al Hilal,
the referee went a lot go.
Well, he did, but Al Hilal really did go for it. I mean, there was a trophy at stake, and they wanted to put one over the Premier League team, didn't they?
Well, they would have been in a little bit of trouble if they'd have broken somebody important, like put it that way.
Yeah,
there would have been words because they some of the tackles flying were not good.
David says, "Are we changing out the badge?" I hope not. I don't know. I don't think so. Look, the badge has changed over time, of course. New designs, and for me, the badge that I hold dearest to my heart was the first ever badge that was on my first ever replica shirt, which was the NU and F, and then the C and the magpie underneath. It's one of those things that you'll always remember being on your first shirt, and that badge always. Will always be special to me, and I love that badge. But
I think they'd probably consult fans, don't you think?
Well, there seem to be consulting fans about a lot of things, so I would imagine
it makes me think they would, involve them.
Absolutely. Resident Raccoon says, "Hey everyone, I'm a long-time lurker. Just wanted to show a little support to one of my favorite channels. Thank you very much." Ben says, "Awesome to be able to watch a live show here in Western Australia." Because usually it's 3 a.m. Yeah, sorry, Ben, you know what I mean? But listen, you are in the height of summer now in Australia. We are in absolute, Baltic conditions. It's probably warmer in the Arctic right now than it is where we are. So, it's freezing. So you just enjoy your sunshine. Of course, a lot of people will say, yes, but they get snakes and spiders and stuff like that. But look, hey-ho, it's what you sign up for. Turpy says, "Is he the Georgian guy at Napoli?"
He is, yes.
Absolutely. Geordie Boy says, "TTR is the only channel I watch now. You lot keep it real." Thank you very much, Geordie Boy. 50 million for Kvaratskhelia. Hell yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot of money.
It could be, it's one of those that could be anything at this point. Anywhere from 40 to 80 probably seems plausible, depending on who and what's the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those funny transfers.
Yeah. Barry says, "All right, lads, hope you're hope you're okay. Great show." Ryan says, "Any unknown players that start at the World Cup that we've been linked with? Surely a Moroccan player."
Not really any links for us, but there are a lot of, obviously, some outstanding talents.
But it'll probably start, after the World Cup's finished. Leading up to the transfer window, you may see a start of rumours about certain players that have done really well in the World Cup, and then it'll grow from there probably. But at the minute, it's quite quiet with regards to the World Cup players. But without a doubt, Alex, there's been some real players in this World Cup. and not necessarily for the big nations either. The smaller nations have shown us that they've got some very, very good individual players as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what we talked about heavily in the preview. That there were certain nations out there that had got 4 or 5 superstars, and if they were able to play disciplined, strict football with an identity and play for the shirt, they could do well. And Morocco did exactly that. I can't recall exactly what my predictions were for Morocco when we did the preview shows, but yeah. I remember giving that sort of assessment to quite a few of them, quite a few nations, and Morocco fit that bill perfectly. You know, they've got bits of quality in Ziyech and Amrabat, and they've got Hakimi, and then all of them just played in such a unified way with pressing, and they were very defensively sound, and that was what we talked about. A lot of these nations, you know, I expected a bit more from teams like Senegal, possibly. Some of the African teams dropped off a cliff, unfortunately, after some promising signs in the group stages.
I thought Senegal were very poor against England. Really, an opportunity.
They were, yeah.
They were very
poor. One of the guys that played against us for Senegal is actually going to be playing for Vallecano potentially tomorrow. So I'm not sure if he's trained in them yet. Yeah. So we might see one, and we'll see him in a bit.
Retro Andy says, oi, gents, hope you're both well. Same goes for all your families. Thank you very much, Retro. Yes, we are. KB, good afternoon. I hope you're well out there in Belfast. Afternoon, lads. Roll on Tuesday. Hope all our injury problems are over. Looking forward to Isak getting back in the mix. Isak's a funny one, Alex, because, you know, he didn't take part in the game out in Saudi. And according to Eddie Howe, he's not going to be taking any part in the Vallecano game. They've targeted the Carabao Cup game. Are you a little bit surprised and worried at that?
No, I think it's just it was quite a bad injury, and they had estimations on his return date, and the estimations were possibly not perfect. It happens. Everybody recovers at different rates depending on certain factors.
Yeah,
He won't play in the Carabao Cup. He's not trained yet. So the Carabao Cup match is on Tuesday. We're currently on Friday. Mm-hmm. He's not going to play. I'd be very surprised. I mean, maybe if he trains 2 days. I mean, he's not even kicked a ball. He's not going to play Carabao
this is
Cup.
my thing, Alex. I mean, have Newcastle United been a little bit too quiet on the Isak situation to the fans? Because I know, you know, I've said in the past that, you know, the club, it's up to the club whether they want to come out and say anything about injuries or anything like that. But are you a little surprised? Because it's obviously been a much more serious injury than was first said. And the fact that he hasn't kicked the ball in anger for so long now, are you a little bit surprised the club hasn't said anything else regarding him?
No, not really. I think it's quite straightforward. I think a lot of publications want to try and make something of it. Yeah. And I think it's just a case of it was a funny injury. There was an estimated time of recovery. It's a little bit worse than they had originally anticipated. You know, it happened on international duty with Sweden.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably be back training fully. It's estimated that it will be next week, but we'll see, which is fine, which means he'll be sort of getting back up to match fitness as the games are coming thick and fast, and he can play some substitute minutes. And then hopefully in January, he'll be back to being able to play 90. It's only a few weeks out on what was originally predicted, so I think everything's absolutely fine. I wouldn't get too worried about what certain publications are writing, because it's just
and they're not going to take a risk on the mother. You know what I mean? What's the point of taking a risk?
It's the same we've done with Joe Linton, Maxi, Wilson. They've been very careful with injury management, and it's brilliant because look where we are in the league based on that. They've managed to keep the more important players fit as much as possible. This is what we talked about. And I'm really happy with my prediction that I said Callum Wilson would play way more minutes this season. And they have managed. He got injured, but they've managed it really, really well. And he's playing a lot of minutes and he's looking a lot better. So fingers crossed, touch wood, that can continue.
Retro Andy says, I hope we sign every player with a hard-to-pronounce name just to see Paul struggle. Well, thank you, Andy. Nicky says, afternoon, all first time I caught a live show. Thank you very much. Logan says, imagine finishing top 4. I'm sure every single fan has done that so far, to be honest, Logan. We are dreaming, and we will continue to dream, you know, whether we get top 4 or not. Chris says, afternoon, Paul Stato. Hope you're good. Frau's joining us. Saw West Ham fan YouTube show that said the young right back is a done deal to the Toon. Any whispers in the Northeast about this? Yes. I believe he will be signing very early in January. And I can't remember the kid's name, but
Harrison Ashby.
Harrison Ashby, yes. I believe that will happen very early on in January. I think that deal was done quite a while. What was that?
My neighbour seems to have a drill.
A huge drill, yeah. Overthinking says, good thing about the new owners and Eddie is that we won't impulse buy anyone in January that doesn't fit the high pressing, high energy mentality. That's correct. All these talks about Ronaldo and rubbish like that, Alex, no matter what you think of Ronaldo as a player, let's take his personality out of it, but as a player, he's still not Eddie's type of player, though, is he?
No, it makes no sense. I know a lot of people are saying they would take him for the income he would generate and the revenue, but it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, of course, they have to do drilling at this time of the day.
Don't worry about it.
It just doesn't make any sense because if you look at Man United, they were signing players for their brand and for their revenue, and they've just about managed to stay within the top 6 kind of area, just about. And they've had to spend so much money. I mean, why not just buy the right players first time round and just try and do it on the pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. Ian says, I'm happy whatever business our club does this January. So glad Ashley Brucey Ball is part of Benefit Street history. Sony says, I know there are a lot of names floating around, but if Diaby was still in the conversation, Kual could be sent out on loan and he could be used in any foreign transfer. 30 plus years since our last badge change. Yeah, it's a long time.
That previous comment, by the way, that is a fair point that Kual could be essentially used as leverage. If we want to, if there is a certain club that fits the bill in Europe and we want one of their players, we could say, right, well, we'll loan you Kual as well for 6 months.
Yeah.
So we're looking a lot stronger now where we are sat in the table, and the fact that we've got a couple of players that we could offer Anderson potentially out on loan. We could offer Kual. We've got a lot more leverage this time around.
Absolutely. Ashley, he says, I still have my first shirt with that badge on it. Got the home and the silver away top from back then. I loved that silver away top. I really did. I thought the only problem with that silver away top was the blue star was bloody tiny on it. I just wish it had been a bit bigger of a blue star, but there you go. Kamal says, the word here in the Middle East regarding Azzedine Ounahi from Algiers and Morocco is that so many clubs are after him, including Barca and possibly NUFC. This also includes his teammate Boufal. Yes, look, there's a lot of Moroccans going to be on the radar. There is no doubt about that. We just have to wait and see. James says, I used to love the long sleeve goalkeeper shirts during the Given and Harper's reign. They were the best in the winter. Dave says, it's good to see you guys back. Missed the stuff. Also, how's Danielle? She's good. She's just still battling on at home, but she's good. HM says 3 a.m. here in New Zealand. Great to see you guys back and the focus on NUFC. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Right. Who was the first player that we have up? It is him.
Yeah, I thought we'd just we'd go from first. Binz, there's so many people in the chat.
Yeah.
Talking about, we might as well just go straight in. So Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. We'll go with that. Georgian, 21 years old, soon to be 22 years old. And yes, he is the guy from Napoli. And for those of you who don't watch European football, Napoli have been absolutely destroying the Champions League. Yeah. I think Giovanni Simeone, which is thingy's what's the manager's first name again? Diego Simeone. It's Diego Simeone's son. We were linked with him in the summer, but he moved to Napoli as well. He broke some funny record in the Champions League. That they've all just been absolutely tearing it up in the Champions League. And this guy's numbers are I'm going to use the word alien again. I use it on occasion, and this guy I think qualifies for it. 869 minutes in Serie A with 6 goals, 5 assists. He is running a little bit hot with his goals. And then the Champions League as well, another 5 goal contributions with 2 goals, 3 assists That is what, in about, what's that, 1,200 minutes? Mm-hmm. And that is, 11, 12, 13, 16 goal contributions in about 1,200 minutes. that is outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, that's ridiculous. That's insane. That's going on in a Prem season. You know, if you can keep those sorts of numbers going, you're looking at well over 30 goal contributions a season, which is insane. So he is 6 foot as well. He's not a tiny winger. So he plays on the left typically and is a right footer. So it is Maxi's position. And then if we scroll down, so this is where I say he's running a bit hot in terms of his performance. His statistics really do justify why he's getting this. So if we scroll down, you will see how crazy some of this is.
Christ on a bike. That's the kind of green we love to see, Alex. Just a quick one. Soli said that Isak trained yesterday, so that's a good sign.
Did he train yesterday? I had a few people said he didn't. I haven't really been on social media to check, so
I'll take Soli's word for it for now. But go on. That is a lot of green. Yeah,
so very sort of Alan Saint-Maximin in terms of dribbles and things like that. But this guy puts up a lot more end product, as some of the haters like to say. He's got a little bit more end product than Maxi in terms of 4 shots per 90 from a winger is again alien. It's in the 99th percentile. It's the top 1% in Europe. So 4 shots a game is a joke. It's you know, imagine what we've got now and throw an extra few shots in there every game.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, shot creating actions. So this is stuff that's assisting other teammates in having shots. Maxi's very good at these as well. But this guy's with 5.54, again in the top 5% in Europe, is freakish. And then he's also in the top 3 or 4% for everything else to do with goals and assists as well. Dribbles completed at 2.4 per 90, top 11%, very, very good. Touches in the attacking penalty area is in the top 2%. So he's touching the ball a lot of times in the box. He's constantly trying to get in the box. And if you go and look at who he's matched with,
well, I was just going to say, I mean, absolutely. Look at the names on that list.
Is stacked, absolutely stacked. Rafael Leao for Milan, Vinicius Junior, Chucky Lozano, who is his teammate at Napoli. You've got Gnabry, Son, who we love, Saka, Rodrigo, Ousmane Dembele, who we've been linked with, Sané. And sorry, Mr. Luriente from Sassuolo, I haven't seen you play very much. So, but yeah, that absolutely just stacked comparisons. But this guy would cost an arm and a leg.
I was going to ask what his valuation would be. 21 years old.
Is his pitch is I clicked on Napoli. That's why. No, we don't want Napoli. Oh, it's being slow. There he is. So 62 million euros is his rumored. Wow, that's his SofaScore valuation. There you go. Anybody who wants to check him on SofaScore, just press down. His valuation's lower. Let's everybody click down, and then it helps. It doesn't.
No, I was going to say I don't think that. I think if we were to go in for someone like him,
but anybody we're linked with, I always press lower valuation. It just feels like it. You never know.
Just feel like you're doing your part, do you?
Exactly.
Yes.
So strengths. This is just SofaScore's opinion based on his statistics and output. Positioning, high pressing, playmaking. Lovely. Exactly what we're looking for. I don't like the number 77, but we can have words about that. We can tell him to use a proper number and not these silly Italian numbers.
Listen, Alex, I don't give a monkey's chuff, right? If a player like him was to sign for Newcastle, he could have 777 on the back of his shirt. It wouldn't bother me.
Right, so games. So yeah, pretty bonkers. He got a 9 rating against Sassuolo, so lots of goals and assists. And if we have a little look... So at the lineup, and they are absolutely stacked up front as well. So they've got Chucky Lozano up there. They've also got Simeone's son. They've got Victor Osimhen, who of course, with Kvaratskhelia as well up front. They are absolutely stacked, and they've got the Polish playmakers Jelinski in behind. They've got one of the 4 Kims from the South Korea team. One of them is very good and does play for Napoli.
Yeah, a lot of Kims.
Very, very, very good lineup. So if we actually click on this and have a look at the stats for this game. 1 goal, 2 assists.
Yeah, but look at that heat map, Alex. Look at the heat map. He's all over the place, man.
He's essentially receiving the ball up here and just driving.
But look at the rest of it. He puts in some mileage.
It's very, very with certain players. When you look at stats in a heat map, you have to figure out how they play. This guy, it's abundantly clear how he plays. It's very obvious. It's ball, box, goal, now, like go, run. It's very, very, very evident. He's very, very tidy with the ball as well. He's always getting anywhere between 3 and 6 key passes. It's outrageous, creating lots of big chances. His dribbles are through the roof as well. This one, for some reason, was 0 successful dribbles. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter when he's getting 3 goal contributions in one game.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's often mucking in with his physical work as well, drawing fouls. Gets a few tackles with his high pressing, not so good at his interceptions. And they play a 4-3-3 as well with a very fluid system, which is not, miles away from how we play at the moment. So this guy is an absolute freak of nature. Please put him in a black and white shirt, basically.
He's an absolute beast.
I think he would be one of my favorite picks, to be fair. I would love this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. A thumbs up from me as well. I think if Newcastle... And remember, look, guys, I'll state this again. We are not in the know on this channel. We never state the B. We will never say such and such is definitely coming or whatever. There's other channels if you want to go and watch them for that kind of thing. We will just talk about who has been linked in the media and what they could possibly bring to Newcastle United. We'll have an in-depth look at how they've performed and what they could bring to Newcastle.
It's plausible as well.
It is,
linked
definitely.
By the Times. He's a similar price tag to what we've paid for Isak. So in theory, we've paid it before. We could pay it again in theory. And his wages are approximately 30,000 per week in euros. So we could add 100k on that. It wouldn't break our wage structure.
He'd get a hell of a pay rise, wouldn't he? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So that would be a good thing, wouldn't it? So
it's not super likely, but it's not impossible at all.
Absolutely not. Look, he's a definite go for me. But again, these are just players that are linked in the media, and we just look at them and say what they could bring to Newcastle. This guy would be absolutely a phenomenal signing. But again, these are just media links. We are not in the know. We don't know. But we, if anything happens, then we'll bring it to you straight away. Sam says, this channel has helped me fall back in love with football and my team after a long time of mental illness and club circumstances draining my passion. Thank you, and up the mags. Thank you very much, Sam. That's very kind of you to say so. Really appreciate that. Alex, do you think we'll get on him?
No, I've not seen us linked with him at all. So I don't think we'd be the sort of club that would pull the trigger on a World Cup purchase. Yeah. It's risky. It's very risky. I think we've had our targets and we've had a list for 8, 9, 10 weeks. And depending on injuries and how the season goes, I think we're going to work based on the list we've accumulated on our scouting. I don't think they're going to go, quick, had 3 good games at the World Cup, go. I don't think that's how we operate anymore.
Yeah. Giles says, afternoon, guys. Looking forward to the football and Merry Christmas. And to you, Giles. David says, I'm dreaming of a black and white Christmas with us in the Champions League spots. Indeed. By the way, next Friday's show will be, next Friday's TTR Friday, a week today, will be a Christmas special. So Alex has promised to dress up. God knows about Jimmy and Roy, but we'll soon see. And Billy, well, you never know. I'm sure he has a selection of teeth, which will probably be available on that show. Chris says, 5 Ballon d'Or winner doesn't make any sense. Okay. Sam says, it feels great to join a community of like-minded people all supporting the best club in the world. We are certainly that. We are certainly that, Sam. Jock says, Alex has had a curry, excuse the noise. That's normally Billy, isn't it? Ben says, I was afraid that the owners would force Ronaldo on us. I'm glad they didn't. I hated him since the red card against us years ago. I really don't think that was ever an option for our club, Alex. Ever.
No, I mean we've just discussed it. It's I don't think the owners care that much about money. I think the whole point is to grow the club organically and naturally and not force it. There's a lot of people that have started enjoying, a lot of neutral fans have started enjoying watching us on Match of the Day and watching us if we're on, because we're fun to watch. We're high energy. We've got some personalities. Eddie Howe's a nice guy. We're trying to improve the club and the club's image in a different way. And it wouldn't make any sense. It would be so far left of everything we've done so far.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ashley, he says, I think we will go for Maddison as we do chase the right players like we did with Botman. We don't give up on the players we want if the deal is right. Andrew says, my favourite badge was the one with the castle and the magpie. I'd be happy with that back. Yeah, I like that one. John says, not sure myself, but would Brereton Diaz be good cover for Wilson? In my opinion, we still need that cover, and I don't think that's Isak's role. Are there any other strikers available?
I think he got really badly injured, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I'd have to go and have a look. And Blackburn have fallen off a tiny bit in the Championship.
A tiny bit, Alex.
Well, they're still in the top 6, aren't they?
They are, but they were in a really good position a few games ago. They have fallen off, though.
Yeah, I think it's time to look because he's not super young either, is he? So I think we should look somewhere else.
Absolutely. Tangy says the Aussie suitor, Moroccan Amro, Bat, whatever they call him, staying with Bat theme for this channel. Maddison and Trossard are my hopeful signings in January. Suitor's a very good player. Currently at Stoke, of course. I believe, is he still at Stoke?
Not sure.
I'm not sure, but I think it is. Julie says, don't forget, peeps, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. You can also join the channel, and super chats are also available indeed by hitting that $sign. John says, still think that Maddison might be the difference between top 4 and not. Well, he's a quality player, isn't he? So, you've got that. I mean, Apple, from what we've been told, Alex, he wants to sign. There's actually pundits such as Ian Wright, etc., come out and said that Maddison has a desire to join Newcastle, and of course he was sort of teasing everybody with those Instagram posts from the World Cup, with Trippier and Wilson and Nick Pope, and then.
Do you mean Trips, Cal, and Popey, as he was calling them in interviews?
Absolutely, yeah. And then, of course, getting that question about what he thinks of the game, when the season kicks off again, and he didn't really comment much on it.
He did. He went, "Oh, that's naughty. That's naughty."
That's what I mean. He had a sort of a wry smile on his face. So you just never know what's going on behind the scenes. But I think a move to Newcastle would certainly, at the moment, appeal to James Maddison. There's no doubt about that. Right, what's next, Alex?
We have Skriniar, so the centre back. So Milan Skriniar, he has been around for a long, long time, but is not as old as I thought he was. He's still 27. For a good couple of months yet. So very, very, very solid centre back. Been around for ages. Plays for Inter. No goals or assists for a centre back, but that's absolutely fine. He's on a good whack in terms of wages. So it would be a sidestep in terms of wages, which is interesting. So lots of Champions League pedigree and experience, international pedigree and experience. He's played in most competitions at the very, very highest level. 6'2", 6'1.5", it says here, right-footed. So this guy would come in essentially and play in front of Fabian Schär, or I doubt he'd sit on the bench. I don't think you'd buy Skriniar and put him behind Schär. It depends. He is very, very impressive on the ball. As you can see, passing-wise, you can see why his name's potentially come up. 92% pass completion is extremely high. It is elite. It is in the top 4% in Europe. Attempts a lot of passes per 90. Passes attempted isn't always a good factor, because obviously that depends on the style of play of the team. If they want to, if centre backs are always booting the ball long, they're not going to be completing that many passes and attempting that many. But highly, highly competent. Progressive passes received is quite high for a centre back as well. So he's involved in attacking play. We know our centre backs are getting really, really involved in attacking phases as well, in set pieces. It's not really come off yet, unfortunately. I think the centre back goals really was Schär's 30-yard screamer. So we could do with them getting their head on a few of them, although Botman's come close so many times. So there's not much else to say than this guy, other than he's one of 10 or 15 elite centre-backs that have been around for a while. It's an interesting link. I don't know if it's got any... I don't know how many... I don't know how many legs, if any, this has got, because I'm not sure it's a priority position immediately.
Yeah.
I think we've discussed this recently, how we are going to need to start looking for a successor for Fabian Schär and for Trippier. We're going to need to look at understudies or maybe people to improve the position. I'm not sure it's a priority for January, though. It might be something we look at in the summer. I'd be really surprised. If we sign a right-sided centre-back in the January window, I would be really shocked. So it's an interesting one. I mean, we can have a little look at the sofa score. So this was Inter against Juventus. So they play in a funny wing-back role with Skriniar on the right and Dumfries out on the wing, who's a very weird player. And Inter look weird. They haven't changed in years. Çalhanoğlu in midfield, who was of AC Milan. And Skriniar's partnered Stefan de Vrij for ages. At an absolute age, he's partnered de Vrij in a back four and a back five. So these two have been playing together for a long, long time. He's, of course, in the Netherlands squad.
Yeah.
I think he'd be brilliant. I just don't see this happening in January at all. I think there's a lot of people who potentially know who he is would agree that he'd be a great centre-back for us. Just a strange one for January.
Yeah, January for a centre-back, I'm not so sure. I don't think we'll be making any inroads to get him in January. I think maybe this guy is a possible summer signing, depending on what happens with Fabian Schär and, of course, Dan Burn. Botman, we know, is going to be here for very much the long term. So I can see it more of a summer sign. I don't see why or any reason to go for him in January.
But then in the summer, that raises the question. In the summer, he's 28 and a bit. And then the question arises, is that the right age profile? I mean, fair enough, for a centre-back, it's not too bad. You could arguably get more than 5 seasons out of it, centre-back at 28 years old.
Yeah.
No guarantees, though. And we don't have any young centre-backs. This is something that we talked about in January, is that Botman was the acquisition to try and bring the age down a bit. Eddie Howe has specifically also quoted this, I think, or maybe Dan Ashworth. It was one of the two, quoted about they needed to bring the average age down of the squad. And we all at the Toon Review have all been saying that since January as well. We need to bring the average age down. We were so old. And I think we could probably do with the next centre-back, maybe being... Just having a lot of years ahead of him would just be helpful. We can't have everybody sort of close to 30.
Yeah, sort of under 25, looking at that sort of ages. Billy Trace, I think Suter is at Hibs. Not 100% though. He certainly was at Stoke. He was at Stoke. The only reason I'm saying that about Suter is because I'm sure one of the commentators during the World Cup said he was at Stoke, but he may not be. Broughton Diaz says Foxy is only 23. Many championship forwards like Mitro have showed to be capable stepping up to the Prem. Think Diaz could too, but wouldn't be my first choice. And Blackburn want crazy money.
Yeah, I don't know why I had 27 in my head. That's definitely wrong. He's a lot younger than that.
Yeah,
but yeah, Foxy makes a fair point.
Interesting. Spacebar says Foxy, I think he's out of contract at the end of the season, but I don't think he would add to what we've already got. Well, he would be a better addition than Chris Wood, who, of course, has been linked away from the club with Leeds United. There was somebody else linked with him the other day. I can't remember who it was. But I think Chris Wood... I mean, you've got to talk about outgoings as well, Alex, because there is some players who we do need out of the door. If we're going to bring more players in, we've got to get rid of some.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my personal reasons why I'm not going to comment too much on January, because a lot of people are saying, one big signing and a few little ones, or possibly this, possibly that. I think so much of it depends on if we can get reasonable offers for anybody we might want to let go. And that could change the whole transfer window. Yeah. If we get rid of, if Kel Watts and Matty Longstaff both go, who are returning on January the 1st. If we get a reasonable offer for Fraser, Richie, Wood, and all of a sudden we've got 4 or 5 out the door, that's 100, 150,000 in wages per week, or more than that, 200,000. And then all of a sudden we might have a little bit of transfer fee plus a lot of wages in terms of wiggle room. The club might then pull the trigger on another youth player and a big signing. But that may not happen because we may not get those offers in. It's so all we can really talk about is what we think the current strategy is, but that may change based on outgoings. So we'll have to wait and see.
Do you think Chris Wood is a potential exit in January?
Well, we do seem to be linked with a lot of attackers, and I think if we get a reasonable bid in for him, yes. But this is the first time where I will criticise some of the club's business when we're going to have to pay part of those wages because he's rumoured to be on somewhere. He's on at least 100. We're not sure exactly. Some websites say 100, some say 125, 120. So there's no way wherever he would go, they would match that. So I would argue that there's not going to be many teams would pay more than 40, 50,000 a week for Chris Wood. So we're going to have to pay at least half of his wages. I know we're going to get a reasonable transfer fee for him. We might get 10 if we're really, really lucky. It's a long shot.
What's he realistically worth at Chris Wood at the minute? I mean, give it. If you look at his, you look at his form since he came to us. Is he really worth any more than 10? Quite frankly, I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, if I walked up to Leeds and asked for 15, I think they'd laugh us out the door. I wouldn't entertain that myself. So it's I could see him possibly if we do try to bring in another attacker. I could see him going out on loan, possibly, if he wants. But I'm not sure he's bothered. He'll get minutes for New Zealand anyway. He doesn't need to prove himself. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Sam says the next centre-back, someone like Roger Ibanez, Brazilian, 24 and monstrous stats.
We were linked with him before. Good player.
Yeah. Simon says, I thought Matty Longstaff was a permanent transfer. I must be wrong. Matty hasn't left the club permanently yet.
No, him and Kel Watts are both returning on January the 1st. As far as I'm aware, unless I'm pretty sure we did a show. So,
yeah. Ches says, did we release anyone from their contract last season? I'm not sure. If so, do you think we may need to look at doing that for the likes of Hendrick, Gillespie, etc.? Well, Hendricks is I believe, is a permanent deal, isn't it, with Redden? So he's gone. He's off the books.
Good question.
I don't think it was a loan deal. Gillespie, yes. I mean, Gillespie, he played the second half against Al Hilal, but in realistic terms, he's not going to be any part of the future at Newcastle United.
He looks really shaky as well.
Oh, my God, did he not?
He didn't look good.
Now, Billy made a point on the goalkeepers, Alex, and I agreed with him. I thought Karius looked really good in that first half, made some really good saves, looked very confident. Now, of course, everybody jumps on the bandwagon of, oh, my God, just looking back to that Champions League final, and they've sort of wrote him off after that. But he was steady away and made some very good saves. Do you think he's going to push Darlow out?
I would want both of them to stay. This will help. This will help motivate Darlow. If there's essentially two goalkeepers playing for the number 2 jersey, that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Potentially, we've not really seen Darlow a lot recently, so there's nothing to suggest Darlow hasn't changed his game, adapted, improved, maybe tried to learn how they want the system to play. So there's possibilities that Darlow's improved. Karius looked really, really solid as well. So it's looking quite healthy in that department. Or the only thing I'd say is, I'm sure you're a lovely bloke, but I just want Gillespie to go, and we can bring in a youth keeper who's going to get the experience from the first team. I just think it's a waste.
It is a waste. Sam says, apparently we're interested in Joby Bellingham. Could be a great young addition if he's even half the player his brother is. Yeah, I saw that this morning. Look, again, it's one of those. Listen, he's a kid. He's a young kid coming through. And that's exactly who Newcastle United have been pursuing over the last few months, certainly since the arrival of Dan Ashworth. So I wouldn't write that one off completely.
He's on my list, but there's not much data. So,
yeah. He's got to play a few more games at the sort of professional level, I would imagine. Retro Andy says, would love Mohamed Simakan as a young centre-back, right-back, looks so good. Who's only 22. Jan says, I'm hoping someone out there will take Maxi for 45 million off our hands. He is no good to us, says Jan. I have a feeling you may well disagree with that.
I mean, go and watch that Manchester City game. And tell me he's not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
He found consistency and then got injured. If he comes back from injury and he shows no more consistency between now and the end of the season, then fine. Because we can't keep giving him chances until the end of time. I agree with that. But I think he started to show the level he could provide for us. And then he got injured. So, I mean, why not give him a chance?
Good point. Haven't we been linked with Felix from Brazil?
Felix from Brazil.
João Felix from Portugal, I believe, is who we've been linked with. Karius is our youngest senior goalkeeper. He is, he's younger than Darlow. Ashley says, I think we should keep Maxi. Not sure I'd buy him, but very happy we already have them. Billy says, Joby is apparently better than Jude was at the same age.
Wow. There's a few people saying that, but that's,
yeah, interesting. Anyway, João Felix, Alex.
Yes. So this is the spicy one. Those wages make me want to just jump out the window. That is monster. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on that screen, but it says 280,000 euros a week, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying. He's got a fat contract as well. So he's been linked by random outlets and a couple of funny Italian outlets, which I stand by what we all discussed in January. Do not trust Italian journalism at all in football because it's awful. Especially after the Botman saga, you could see it was all propaganda.
Absolutely.
So basically, what's going on with this kid? Crazy talent. Was purchased for well over 100 million euros by Atletico a few years ago. Was meant to be the next best thing since sliced bread. Simeone favors either a 4-4-2, and he's using Morata with Griezmann, or Felix gets to play sometimes in a wing-back system. Still only 23 years old. Perfect age profile. 3 goals, 3 assists in 500 minutes is incredible. 6 goal contributions in 500 is very, very good. He's played for a 23-year-old. He's played at the highest level. He's played in several major tournaments for Portugal. He does the business for Portugal. He looks good. He's super, super technical, super talented. Lots of Champions League experience as well. Lots of experience in La Liga for trying to challenge at the top. Obviously, won La Liga the same season Kieran Trippier did as well. So Kieran Trippier's played with him before. If we scroll down and have a look at his stats as well, he is elite. He is an elite footballer. He's not just, is he world class? Is he not? Is he this? Is he that? He is elite. His profile suggests that he's done it. You can see dribbles completed in the top 13%. His passes are really tidy, shot creating actions, shots total as well. Let me zoom in a little bit just so we can all see this. 2.77 shots is quite tidy as well. And you can see his closest stat match is actually his teammate with Griezmann. Guidi as well, who we were linked with last season, who's a crazy talent. And Kunku at Leipzig is insane. So he's keeping a lot of good company here. Very high interceptions as well for some reason. Incredible footballer who it just scares me how much he could potentially cost. Why am I on Atletico? Oh, okay, it's fair enough. So he's down here on 9th on the ratings for Atletico. And if we have a look at some of his games, so this is the end of October. So this is his problem essentially, and why his name keeps flying around for transfers is because he's not really playing. He doesn't really suit how Simeone wants to play kind of right now. So they've got a 4-4-2 with Witsel, who keeps going between centre-back and centre midfield. So this is kind of what he's favouring, the Morata and Griezmann front two in a 4-4-2. So there's a lot of this going on. And João Felix doesn't, he's a very winger 10 driving the ball forward. And it's not quite what is needed in this 4-4-2. And he's gone for Saul Niguez, who's got a little bit more defensive experience. Obviously played a little bit of wing back for Chelsea. You've got against Leverkusen as well in a Champions League game. I think he lined up in a 4-4-2. Again, the same here. So he's gone with Carrasco and Correa. Obviously, Carrasco could play wing back. So you can see Simeone's choices here are favouring people out wide who have got a bit more structure and a bit more defensive solidity. And he's gone with Griezmann Morata up front as well. Obviously, there's the funny front three of Leverkusen that we've seen many times, with Diaby on the right. Hudson Odoi obviously still on loan and doing okay with them. And I can't remember which game it was he actually played. It might have been this one that they lost. No, not even this one. So they played wing backs, and he's not even in this one either. Yeah, so you can see why he's. There's a lot of conversations about him potentially moving. The problem is, though, he's on a lot of money. He's still got a fat contract. He's considered one of the world's best. So here you go. This is when he gets a chance. How many games did we just have to look at? 4 or 5 before we found him in the lineup. So he's playing kind of left forward, left wing in a 3-4-3 with Sal Niguez being the wing back. Didn't have a particularly great game. They lost that one. Oh, the page reloaded. Never mind. So, yeah, exceptional talent. I don't know.
No, listen, I mean, Foxy says here, a great player, João Felix, but the price and wages are outrageous.
Yeah, they are.
Much rather we find our own João Felix at a fraction of the price. One thing's for sure, Atletico and Simeone's style doesn't suit him at all.
Our style would suit him a lot, but
yeah,
you know, we're going to need to.
I mean, we'd have to break the bank in wages as well. We'd have to smash our wage structure, everything like that. Would have to go out of the window.
I don't think he'd take anything under 250,000 or 200,000 a week, which is significantly higher than anybody else. And in terms of fee, I don't know. I can't see him going for anything less than 70, and I think 70 would be a steal considering what his contract length, his wages, and how much they paid for him. It's a really fun transfer, but unless they want, we still don't know the owners fully, and we don't know if they going to want a kind of superstar, big marquee signing ever in the next few seasons. Is that the way they're going to go, or are they going to stay 100% with the Ashworth and Careful model? We don't know. So maybe one day we will get one of these, but I think it's a bit early for that.
Just a bit too early, yeah. Felix used to be a dance group back in the day. Well, thanks very much for that, Ian. Sam says, I would still take Maddison over João Cat Food, proven in the league and fits the system better and probably a lot cheaper.
Well, very different players.
Yeah, they are, to be fair. Sam Maddison would fit in as his attitude is perfect for our team. Simon says he might have been injured. Check his injury stats to see. Tangy says wages too high for Felix. There's better value out there. Yeah, I mean, for me, look, I'll be honest here, right? Every time I've seen João Felix play, I haven't really been that impressed. I don't see.
Yeah, but I think a lot of games you possibly watch him are in those funny Champions League games when Simeone just goes with a crazy block. And that is really, it's very anti-football. And it's not the best. When you watch Atletico in these funny Champions League knockout games, when Simeone is trying to close the front door essentially and the back door, all the doors, and Felix gets like 5 touches. He's so much better than that. He really is.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Ross here. I think Maddison is the chosen one. I think he is probably our number 1 target in January. I've believed that for a number of weeks now, and I'm not going to change my opinion on that. I still think he's the one that we, or the owners and Eddie, have targeted for quite some time now. But again, time will tell. Jimmy's in the house, just tuned in, haven't seen Alex in some time. Hello. Well, you'll see him tonight, Jimmy, when you're on with us. Jimmy and Roy Caviani, of course, will be special guesting again on the TTR Friday show with me and Alex. Billy is out getting absolutely hammered tonight, the Christmas do. Jan says we have some decent young players now who can come in next time around. Indeed. Anyway, to finish the show off this afternoon, we're going to look at the friendly game at the weekend against Real Vallecano. Now, Alex, you've been looking at Vallecano and seeing what they could bring to this match and how much of a test it will be for the Magpies.
Yeah, interesting team, doing a lot better than I originally thought. I've not really been following La Liga much beyond the top few. I think are they around 8th or something? So they're performing quite well. They've been in a lot of good form. Sort of pre-World Cup, they were doing a lot better. Quite an old average squad, to be fair. I don't like their stadium name. Estadio de Vallecas and the Vallecano. It's just like,
well, it's pathetic, really, isn't it?
Well, it's like St. James's Park being called the Stadium of Geordies. I just space,
Simon says they were the first team to beat Real Madrid this season.
They were indeed. That is a game we are going to look at here. They beat Real Madrid 3-2 in November, not that long ago. So, as you can see, there's lots of green there. They lost to Fenerbahce in a friendly recently, but their league form has been very, very impressive. So they are no joke. A 3-2 victory over Real Madrid. They beat Sevilla, who are in the relegation zone. But it's still Sevilla. You've still got to beat who's in front of you, and it was away. Crazy game of two. That probably we won't look too much into that because Cadiz had 2 red cards, and then beating Galatasaray as well in their most recent friendly. Very, very impressive. So they are no joke whatsoever. And if we go and have a look at that Real Madrid game, is the one I actually want to look at. So they play a 4-2-3-1. If I can find, there we go. A 4-2-3-1. They had Sergio Camello up front, who doesn't play all the time. It's normally Martin, or they have another striker, which I'll show you in a minute, but he doesn't tend to play very often. You'll be surprised. They've got some interesting players in this team. So they are,
of course, a certain Mr. Florian Lejeune.
Indeed. Well, he is up there. Obviously, Lejeune is up there, still doing rather well. Obviously, he can play in a back four, contrary to certain people suggesting that he can't. Apparently, Fabian Schär can't play in a back four. Yes, he can. Lejeune can't play in a back four. Yes, he can. Even Lascelles has done well. He did well against Liverpool, even though we lost, to be fair to him. It wasn't really his fault that we lost, which is strange to say because normally it is his fault, but it wasn't. So if we scroll down and have a little look at the...
Of course, Falcao's there as well. Foxy's just did.
Yes, we were going to get to that. You ruined my fun.
Well, there you go.
So 20 goals scored, 16 conceded. So 16 conceded in 14 is very competent. And they're sat in 8th. They're having a very good season so far. They started a bit poorly, but they've dragged themselves out of it and are looking very tidy at the moment. And if we scroll and have a look at the squad, of course, Raul de Tomas, who we were linked with, he got 17 goals in La Liga last year, so competent up front. Andres Martin is getting a lot of minutes, and obviously Camello is the one that played up front in that Madrid game we just looked at. And of course, they have the old man, Radamel Falcao, who I clicked on 7-8 games, just having a look at formations and who was playing. I don't think he plays very much.
Well, so he's about 65 now, isn't he? So I mean,
he's 36, 37. Yeah, but after the ACL at Monaco, he just went. This is a guy that got voted back in the day when he was sort of I think it was who was it? Was he at Sevilla or somewhere, or was it Atletico? It might have been Atletico. I think it was Atletico. They could not leave him out of the team of the year for. They had to put him up front with Messi and Ronaldo because he was that good in his prime. He was unplayable. So
I'm sorry. I've just seen number 11. What a Geordie name. I mean, if he signed for Newcastle, can you? Yeah, man, we've got Randy Nteka in midfield. Randy Nteka. Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of Newcastle fans who would make some very interesting songs about Randy Nteka.
Well, there's some more famous people over here. So Ismail Assis, we played against Senegalese. We've just played against him in the World Cup. I say we, I mean England. Sorry for non-English Geordies out there. Bebe. So I don't know if anybody remembers Bebe. This is the Bebe. This is the Cristiano Ronaldo replacement at Manchester United back in the day. This was the guy that was signed from a YouTube video who didn't work out. This is that guy. He is now 32, and it isn't that bad. He's all right. It just wasn't Cristiano Ronaldo. So, yeah, they have him, which is quite funny. They do have Unai Lopez, who isn't terrible as well. And, of course, there he is. Look at him. And his picture's still in. I'm pretty sure. Is that one of our shirts?
It certainly looks like
it. It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be. So he's in defence. They're not a bad team. they're not a bad team. I mean, it's an interesting theme because this is something we pointed out in preseason, is that our two friendly games were against two teams who placed 8th in their division previously. Obviously not Benfica, but we were on about the, I think it was Athletic Bilbao and Atalanta both finished 8th respectively in their leagues. So it's really curious that they're also currently 8th. So they're not a bad team. 20 goals scored. You know, they've scored more than several teams above them, than Betis and Osasuna. So, you know, they've got a very good defensive record in 16 and 14. So they will not be a joke. We will have to play well, but considering how we played the other day, we should be absolutely fine. And I don't know why, but Raul de Tomas has not really been playing, and I can't figure out why. He signed in September and he's not played a game. I don't know why he's not played, because I had a look and he's not injured. And I kind of ran out of time on digging as to what happened to him. So he signed on the 13th of September, and there's just this huge gap of not playing football. So, and he's been playing for Spain, I think. He got called up for Spain for the Nations League.
How strange.
I don't know. So if anybody, I didn't have enough time to find all of this out, but if anybody knows why he's not really played for them yet, just, you know, let us know, because it was confusing. But he is a very good player as well. We've got to be careful of him. We were linked with him in the summer, so not a bad player at all.
Well, the way it's going, we might, we might not see him, Alex, because he might not play.
Well,
you know,
he's been on the bench for one of the friendlies, and just because we've got to have a look at him, here he is. I don't know why he looks like a mug shot, but it does. It looks like he's been in trouble. Still only 31 years old, so he's not that old. It was just that injury just really killed him. 3 goals this season, not bad from centre back. We know he was good at putting them away. Everton, I'm looking at you. Still 6'2". I don't know why I was going to say still 6'2". I mean.
Well,
not quite the passing stats that we used to. But I remember him being a lot more competent at passing than maybe his stats suggest. He got a decent long ball and he was very competent. He was very similar to Fabian Schär, to be fair. But it must be the brand of football that the team play. I can't say I've watched much Vallecano this season at all. So interesting that he's got Diego Carlos and Lewis Dunk somewhere on this list. But yeah. So it'll be nice. Hopefully we give him the clap.
I mean, we give him the clap. Did you say? Or give
hopefully
him?
We give him a clap. One round of applause.
Sorry, I'm just making up for Billy not being here, Alex. You know, we've got to click onto something. Ross says, "Miss Lejeune, he got massively bruised.
He did. He really did.
Yeah, that was a shame." Sam says, with the modern game being so reliant on system, fitness, and cohesion, the gap between the best and worst teams is narrowing massively. There's no
exactly that. Exactly that.
Yeah. Ches says, if Schär has become that hard to separate from Botman in terms of performance quality, imagine what Howe could have done with Lejeune.
There's a few mysteries that, like, I'm still adamant. Adamant's the wrong word. I'm really curious what Hayden would play like if he had a 12 to 18 months with Howe. I'm really curious because I think there's a good player in Isaac Hayden somewhere. Definitely, he's shown a lot of. You know, there was a few things wrong with his game, but he's a good footballer and he's a good age as well. In another universe, Hayden is part of this pressing team somewhere.
He's still on loan. Remember, he hasn't signed permanently, so you know,
I think that ship.
You never know, do you? You never know.
He's been talking very well about us in interviews. You know, he got that fine, didn't he, for backing us up? So
you never know.
You never know.
Loffy says, "What's the crack with Maddison? Is it likely or not? We just have to wait and see. I'm convinced he's our number one target, but what do I know? We'll just have to wait and see." Simon says Thomas signed for Real outside of the window, so can't play until January.
That's what's happened. Okay,
right there you go.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, Foxy confirming that as well. They weren't able to sign him before the deadline. That's a bit of a pain in the ass for Raul de Tomas. So, you know, sitting on the sidelines, he'd be itching to go. So he probably might feature in the friendly, actually. So, because he'd be able to play in that. So, that's an interesting one. Soli says, I think we need to drug the Arsenal board and get Saliba to join us next to Botman. Interesting. Craig Lee says, I see us going for a left back and centre midfielder in January. Tom, good afternoon to you. All right, lads, probably missed most of this. Just finished work. Lovely to have some NUFC content again. Absolutely. Feels good to be talking about them as well. I Like Coffee is in the house. I'm not sure who's playing the bloody trombone there. Madness. But that is the end of the show anyway. We've come to the end. Over 400 watching this afternoon, which is absolutely fantastic. It really is nice to see the viewing figures back up. And of course, I expected that with, everybody getting back into the swing of things with Newcastle United. Lots and lots of Newcastle United content coming up over the next few weeks and months.
Lots more names for transfer shows as well. We missed a couple off. Even the guy on the thumbnail, Fresneda, the Spanish right back. So there's lots more names to go over in the next few weeks.
So keep your eye open for transfer shows. But the main one, the next one is, of course, tonight at 8 o'clock with the King of Qatar, Mr. Roy Caviani, and of course the squirrel lover, Mr. Jimmy Moore, will be joining me and Alex tonight at 8 o'clock. So do not wait. Do not miss TTR tonight. We'll start the weekend in such a great way, having a good laugh, a bit of crack, a bit of banter, talking about the World Cup with Roy, because obviously Roy spent a lot of time at different games in the World Cup. So just to get an idea of what was going on over there in Qatar. And Jimmy, God knows what he's been up to, but I'm sure we'll find out. So it's going to be a massive laugh tonight. The great way to start the weekend. Now, the Real Vallecano match, I don't know if that's been streamed or not. I'm not going to that game. So if it is being streamed, I will do a watch along, no doubt about it. And we do have some transfer shows coming up for you, as Alex has said as well. So keep your eye on the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you've got the notification button pressed so that you will be notified when we upload or go live or schedule any shows. And of course, you can become a member of the Toon Review. We've got some prizes to give away to our members tonight on TTR Friday. So we'll have a laugh with that as well. So join us at 8 o'clock. For all the crazy shenanigans. Thank you to the Mod Squad. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, everybody that's watched this afternoon. It's been a great show. As I say, over 400 watching on a Friday afternoon is absolutely superb. So thank you very much. And it's great to be back, guys. It really is. And we will see you again tonight at 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. Good afternoon, everyone.